Good day guys, and welcome to today's tutorial. Now in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to connect your BNC connector and connect it to your DVR and of course your central power to the cameras. So please stay tuned and make sure you watch this video to the end. So this is the coaxial cable, and we're going to be connecting the BNC connector to the coaxial cable. So, or you could call it the CCTV camera, but it's called a coaxial cable. It is a coaxial cable. So this is the BNC connector that we're going to be connecting to the coaxial cable, and that way we plug it to the DVR. And so we have the power adapter plug. That's the DC male plug and pin that you can actually connect to the camera. So I'm gonna be preparing the coaxial cable. As you can see, this is the coaxial cable. Now the coaxial cable has power in it, and it has the, like I said, you want to buy the coaxial cable with the power. So you want to peel off the skin with using your nail cutter, or if you have a cable um slicer. So you could actually slice up the cable and you separate the coaxial cable and the power cables. Now these one having the having looking like some kind of copper wire in silver color is the coaxial cable, while this is the power. Now this our red, we have a red and our positive and negative actually, and this is the coaxial part of the cable. So you wanna skin it out, like cut it out as well. And when you cut it out, you find out that there are actually two basic kind of wire in it. You have a copper wire which is actually in the center of it, and you have these other part of the wire which actually you're gonna actually fold together, which actually looks like a flex cable, like some kind of wax. Then you could actually just use your hands and shrink them together, like you see I'm doing here. Like I'm doing that, and then you have the copper pad actually, which is actually at the middle. So this one, and I'm actually um the one that I'm cutting right now, the solid part of the copper is actually the video. It's the one that actually takes the fits, while the other part, which is actually more like a wax kind of that actually puts together and had to like shrink together, that's the audio pad. So you want to make sure that the audio pad and the video pad does not actually connect in any way. So that's why you want to make sure that you separate them very well. You reduce the size of the video point, the video terminal, which is actually the solid copper part, and so that it doesn't actually touch the audio, the video pad. If not, that's gonna actually cut the bridge and might actually affect the camera. So you want to make sure that they don't come in contact. So you plug it in into your BNC connector. So BNC connector has a screw for where the video is actually going to be going in. Like I said, the center copper wire, the solid center copper wire of the coaxial cable is your video. So it has the slot for it in there. As you can see, you actually slot it in to that. You use your screwdriver and unscrew it a little bit, and then you slot it in. You want to make sure that you don't allow that copper wire and the flex kind of cable to actually touch each other, because if they do, there's going to be a breach. That means you're connecting the audio and the video together. So while the audio part is just the body part of the coaxial cable, so if it touches the body part of the coaxial cable, you want to leave it lying down on that at the tip of the coaxial cable. So you want to make sure it touches the rest of the body of the coaxial cable, but not the center part. So if you look at it, you see you're just gonna actually make sure it actually touches the body of that stuff then, like that. So as you can see, it actually touches the shield of the BNC zinc, the zinc part of the BNC, which is actually the audio. So you want to make sure it touches it very well, and it does not touch the video part, which is actually the copper part of it. You do not want the zinc part to actually touch the copper part. The zinc part is what carries the video, and the copper part is what carries the video, and the zinc part is what actually carries the audio. So you want to make sure that these two do not touch each other. I repeat, you do not want to make sure that they touch each other. You want to make sure that they do not touch each other by any chance. and by so doing, you see, I'm actually making sure that they do not touch each other. Using that screwdriver, you want to make sure that they do not touch each other. The audio and the video pads, the copper pad and the zinc pad should not come in contact. The zinc alloy should not come in contact with the copper pad. So you want to make sure you string that place together and make sure it's firmly connected to that. And then you want to use your black tape to actually casing it, to shield it, to insulate. Now you could actually insulate it with the copper, I mean the sellotape, and that's it. And then you just cover it back with the casing. It has a casing, like you see that black stuff, so you just cover it back with the casing. So the small light copper wires of different multiple colors that you see in there is that which is actually meant for the central power. Like I said, if you want to go buy these coaxial cable, you should buy the one with power. Now, in most of the ones that actually most of this already made coaxial cables are also there in the market, but you want to buy these things, you might not likely find such. So this is the power cable, the copper cable for the power. It's actually the positive and the negative of it. So the red is the positive and the blue is the negative. So you would, like, since we know that these camera devices are actually DC based devices, they're not actually AC based devices, so they run on adapters. So you want to make sure that usually 12 volt, you want to connect the positive to the positive pair of the charger adapter of the camera, and the negative to the negative adapter of the charger of the camera charger. So I'm gonna be connecting the positive to positive and the negative to negative there, as you can see. So I'm going to be making sure that they are well connected, twisting the cables to each other. That's the positive and the positive. As you can see, I'm making sure that you twist it, and obviously you're going to use your tape to actually insulate that as well. So you want to connect the negative too, as you can see there. You also connect the negative to the negative, and make sure that you actually twist it very well. So you want to insulate this one. So this is the positive. Let's insulate the positive first before we actually go on. So as you can see here, I'm twisting, I'm insulating that, actually round is taping it, so we don't have any contact with from the positive and negative. We don't want to have a breach. Of course, when we have a breach, there's going to be some kind of spark. And you might want to know that the fact that this is DC doesn't really mean that it's not dangerous. DC can be very, very dangerous when you have when you have a breach between a positive and negative. It actually creates a blast, unlike the electricity, unlike the AC that actually gives you an electrocution. But the AC actually creates a blast, and it could be more fatal, and it could result to a lot of burns than rather than shocking or having getting electrocuted. So on this note, you've actually been able to connect. You've actually been able to prepare the you see the coaxial cable and the power cable, and that's how basically how you prepare your coaxial cable and for the IP cameras. Now you want to connect these to the camera. So you see this is your camera, your analog camera. Now in your analog camera, you find the two ports. You have the camera connector and the power connector. So we connect the coaxial cable to its male and female point. As you can see there, I'm connecting it to the male and female pins, and then the power as well. Then you want to make sure that you insulate these so that you don't have any, to avoid any signal lost, because as time goes on, these camera might be installed maybe outside the building, so the sun is going to hit it, and the effect of the sun, the effect of the rain. So in fact, even the rain and the weather can actually affect that connection. So in most cases, that happens to be the first line of troubleshooting. If, for example, this camera has stayed long outside, you want to make sure that the first point of troubleshooting when you want to troubleshoot is to check those to check if water actually passes through those stuffs. So by insulating them, it gives a very high chance of loss of signal, and it reduces the loss of signal, and of course the efficiency increases the efficiency of the camera as time with time. So you want to make sure that you insulate it very well and it's properly done, and in that way, you see, as you can see here, that way you wouldn't have any signal lost. So that's it. We've prepared the cable and we've connected it to the camera, both the power and the quasi cable itself. As you can see, that's it. So now we are going to be actually looking at the DVR side. So you want to know that this is actually a two-point way. Just as much as you connect for the camera side, you're also going to be doing it for that which you're actually going to connect at the DVR. If you can't remember the last time in my last video where I talked about analog CCTV camera installation, I made mention of it and I showed clearly. So if you have not watched that video, please do refer back to that video for those who have not watched that video, so you could actually go through it again and see what it has to be. However, I'm going to leave the link to that video after this video, so you can actually watch it. So there's going to be a kind of request suggestion for you to watch that video for those who haven't watched it at the end of this one. So we're basically doing what we did before, like preparing the cable just as we prepared the other side of the cable. So it's basically the same thing. This is our positive and negative power cable, and we have the quasi part of it, which is actually what is this. I'm going to unwrap it right now. So, and as we unwrap it, we know that we have two major parts inside the quasi cable. We have the copper part, which is actually what actually carries the video, and then we have the audio part, which is actually what carries the sound. So you want to put a flex actually to protect the this thing to protect the cable, since make too much stripe. You're gonna put it back in there. So you want to make sure that you reduce the length of your. You shouldn't pass more than 3 centimeters, so that you don't have a breach from the audio. So you see this flex kind of shell is the audio part, like I said earlier. So you wanna twist that together very neatly and make sure it's well twisted together, so you don't have any breach, any contact of it with the audio, because any contact of it with the audio is going to actually send the wrong signals to the cameras and might likely even damage the camera. So you want to make sure that they are separated from the copper wire. The zinc ion is actually separated from the copper, and make sure it's well stripped together, well stripped together, like very important. So that's it. This is basically like repeating the first thing that we did earlier, just for you to actually connect the DVR part. So you want to reduce the length of that so it would actually go into the BNC connector. So that's it. You reduce it, as you can see. So yeah, I cut that off. Yeah, as you can see here. And then we slot it on into our BNC connector. Right now it's ready. We've made sure that the audio pad is well twisted together, so it cannot come in contact with the video pad of it, so which is actually the copper pad, would not actually come in contact. And then we slot it in to its casing, of course. So as you slot into the casing, then you want to slot it into the BNC connector itself. Yeah, so we carry the BNC connector, then we actually loosen the screw that actually for the video part of it. So that's what carries the video, so you want to put it in. So in case you have this camera and it's not actually giving you sound, you might want to check the audio part of the quasi cable. And if it's not actually giving you videos, you want to start with all of this you want to start your troubleshooting from the BNC connector, like all the time. You want to make sure that you start your troubleshooting for the BNC connector. If for example the camera is not working, so you want to make sure that you start your troubleshooting from that point. So this is just basically the same thing as what we've done earlier. So we want to make sure that this audio pad is well twisted on that zinc part of the cable, without making sure without having contact with the copper wire. So you want to package that so neatly. Yeah, as you can see here, and I'm trying to twist this together and make sure that it's well properly tied to that part and part of the BNC connector, as you can see. Yeah, so having prepared the cable, as you can see, we've prepared the cable. Now we have prepared the cable, so we have our power cable ready, and the the quasi cable also ready. So now we're gonna have to just connect it to our DVR and our central power. Now, please, for those who have not watched the video on CCTV installation for analog system, please do refer back to that video. I'm going to drop a link to that video just immediately after that. After this one, you're going to see it. So this is the central power. So this is what the central power looks like. I told you it's actually a 12-volt simple box that serve like an adapter for the cameras. So this is it. So we're going to be connecting the positive and negative terminals of the wire to one end of this central power, or you could call it, yeah, the central power for the cameras. So you connect all your cameras to this based on the lines here. For this one I have here, it's actually a 4 channel. So we're gonna actually prepare the cables very well and connect it to that sent to the central power, as you can see here, as I'm doing here now. So we connect it to that terminal. So for each point, you can see there's a 2 slot there. This it's labeled there positive and negative. So you look and check which is positive. So this is my positive, the first one. So I'll lead and screw it in. As you can see, the red wire is the positive one, and the blue is negative. So we just slot in there. Yeah, negative. So I'll screw it. Yeah, that's it. Make sure it's properly screwed, and it's so that way it will not actually log out. So you see, you want to check if it's properly screwed. So then you will plug in the quasi cable in the DVR. So this is the DVR. It's a 4-channel DVR. Now, based on the requirement or the number of cameras you want to install in the house, like I said in my previous video, so you just slot in. This is a 4 actually channel, 4 channels. So we just plug it in, and that's it. You plug it in, and you see, it's the male and the female socket. So you have the female on the DVR, and this is the male. And you just after when you plug it in, you want to twist it to anti-clockwise. That way, it stays firmly, as you can see. And that's basically all about CCTV installation. This is how pretty much easy it is. Please do not forget to turn on your notification and hit the subscription button. Thank you. Have a nice day.